What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I'm back with another quick review. This time, it is a blast from Action Figure Past. No, it isn't this figure that we're looking at. This figure is my custom Crime Attack Batman. This was the first custom I ever did, and I think I did it when I was like 11, maybe 12 years old. And as you can see, I did not quite have the skills to pay the bills. The cape I did in recent years. It was one of the first custom capes I did when I had the idea to start doing that. But the figure itself, it was a tech shield Batman that was kind of beat up. So I stripped the gold off of him with nail polish remover and painted him all black. Actually, I think underneath the gold was black, so it was kind of easy. The problem was I accidentally stripped the gold on his belt buckle, and you know, you can see burns because the nail polish remover kind of melted off a lot of that shit. And then the actual symbol insignia is made of cardboard. I cut it out of the box and then covered it in clear nail polish so it would last. Pretty ingenious, right? This is what I was trying to achieve. Crime Attack Batman is the Batman that I wanted from the beginning, because it's the one wearing black and gold, or, the closest to the colors in the film. It was like the first one in the line of the Dark Knight collection back in the day. And, when I go on eBay, it's like $50 and, $70 and $100. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? Why? I get it. It's part of the only Keaton likeness that we have next to the NECA video game appearance Batman, which is on the way. But I loved this figure, and I never was able to get it. I have other ones, but I wasn't able to get this one. But my homeboy and my homies and fellow ninjas at Big Fun hooked me up, and I got him for about $10. It was somewhere in between $5 and $10. I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm not going to get this. You know what I mean? I have an area of my Batman setup, my little, display, that's old school Batman stuff. Animated series stuff, movie stuff, like the old movies. So I just had to get this one. And, it's been in the back of my mind since forever because, like I told you, I've been a Batman fan since I was a little kid. And it wasn't because everybody else liked him. It was just because I saw ideas for things that he could do that he wasn't quite doing. Now, here's a little comparison of, my custom next to the the real deal. There's some things that are better. I mean, as you can see, the paint jobs on their faces, especially like, where the flesh tone is actually at, it differs a little bit because from figure to figure, they either globbed on a lot of paint or they painted him a different color to offset the suit color. So you can see there's a slight difference. The custom has like a yellow tint to his skin tone, whereas the other one has more of a reddish tint. But I like the coloring on my bat symbol better than the gold one there. That gold is kind of boring, but it's so clean. It looks so good. Everything else is just awesome. I love the fact that this one has Keaton's maw, his mouth, done properly. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like Keaton's lower face, and I like that. They got the lines, the wrinkles or frown lines, and they've got the lips that he has, because he has very distinct lips, and it works for this Batman, because this Batman was all about a menace, and for some reason just him in his relaxed state just looked mean and pissed. I don't know, like, he looked kind of crazy, especially when you can't see his actual eyes. So this was always my shit. This was the Batman I wanted, and this is why I played with him so much. Here is his accessory. It's kind of a Batarang launcher, a grapple claw launcher. It's real old school. Back in the day, there was nothing like getting an action figure that had some shit that fires, and that shit's worn thin over the last, 30 years? But they're still trying to force feed that down kids' throats or collectors' throats. And the marketing people say that we like this shit. We did when we were 11 and 12 years old, but not so much in our 30s. I mean, maybe there's some out there that do. I'm not one of those. But it is nicely done. It's kind of strange that I think you're supposed to have it on the top of his hand. I just remember having a Batman the Animated Series figure that had the same gimmick, and he had a belt that went with it, and it hung underneath, and there was a handle. It seemed to hold on better that way. You put it up top, it just looks like a stupid bazooka. But here is, what was he called? Combat Belt Batman, which is kind of redundant considering he's the superhero that carries a utility belt or wears the utility belt, and kind of popularized that. But anyway, as you can see, it's the same gimmick. It's just got a different style to it. And he came with the belt that had, you know, I think cuffs, and it had a Batarang piece, and you could store all that shit on the belt. Weapon storage, even way before, you know, NECA and Mattel started doing, you know, really cool figures that had, like, Masters of the Universe classics and shit like that, that actually had weapon storage. I mean, I didn't use this belt that much because it just was so clunky. I pretended most of the time. But you get the idea. It's a nice little gimmick, you know, especially back then when the animated series was on, because this was the Batman to get. But you know, in some ways it's overkill, you know? It's way overkill. It would have been cooler to give us an effects set that had, you know, the grapnel gun with like a launching, like, you know, the action, or maybe the grapnel gun itself was in launching position, so it looked like the line was being fired out of the gun, or give us, you know, a Batarang that has, like, you know, the wind effects part behind it or something, motion behind it or something. I don't know. Just, this is too big, but it fit with the way toys were back then, so I'm not complaining. And usually with me, I collect these things, or I used to, even back then, I collected them with the figure in mind. So unless the read-up said something, or the write-up said something like, you know, this Batman is wearing a suit that protects him from, you know, ridiculous things, then I would be like, oh shit, I need to get that one so he can protect himself from ridiculous stuff. Anyway, here's the comparison with the, what do they call, the Multiverse series. Now, this one, the colors, well, the color is better, but the face itself is lacking. Like, his lips don't look like Keaton's lips, they just look like lips. But it's the closest, how do I put this? It's the closest we have to the movie right now. It comes colored the right way and everything, you know? Here is my custom along with that Keaton, the multiverse Keaton bats and the Crime Attack Batman. And I mean, they look good. I mean, like I said, the multiverse one is the only one that looks pretty movie accurate, you know? Like, he's just, if he had the head of the ones behind him, he would be perfect, you know? But, you know, if you do that, you're going to have a strangely weird proportioned Batman figure. But I'm happy with what I have, you know. I think I did a decent job trying to capture what we saw right there with my bootleg ass custom. But I mean, that's what you do when you're poor. You don't really you can't bug your parents, because you can't bug them, because you know they got more important things to deal with. And I think that's what it was. I found this figure after I'd already been got Tech Shield Batman, and I decided to make the custom because I found out I saw black peeking out from underneath that gold. But I think that Keaton Bats, the multiverse version, would be better if they didn't paint his lips. But you know, the whole reused superpowers body on the you know, the old school Kenner version, it somehow works. I don't know how to explain it. For me, it doesn't bother me. It looks like armor, even though it's not the same musculature as what he had in the film. It just somehow worked. Maybe it's because I never had a superpowers Batman and I wanted one. Here is the quick change Bruce Wayne next to the wall scaler. Oh, I'm sorry, Crime Attack Batman. And I used to think that quick change, you know, Bruce Wayne to Batman was so awesome. I just ignored the fact that his head looked huge and his hands and feet looked huge. I thought that was the best thing ever. And then it occurred to me one day that it wasn't the best thing ever, so I think I lost parts. I lost some of the parts and I couldn't get them back, so I was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to use him as Bruce Wayne and use my Batman as Batman, you know? And that's where it begun. I still do that now, where I have a Bruce Wayne and then I have, several Batman figures in costume. But what's cool is, once again, this is another one of those morose, thorough-looking Batman figures. It's about 30 years old, and it still looks immaculate. I managed to get this figure for under 20 bucks, which is amazing. I got it at Big Fun. He was mint in package. And it's just a really, 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 really awesome find. So if you ever are in the market for a Keaton Bats, don't forget that this one exists and you could possibly find it for under 20 bucks. So anyway, I'm Strident. This is my story and I'm sticking to it. On to the next one.